Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Harvey Lynch here, coming to you live tonight with another episode of Crown Business TV. And well, what a week it's been. Hey? More changes in government stimulus in the last couple of days. There's a hell of a lot going on in the news. And we have got a special guest on tonight as well. Katie Hurst of Better Business Mastery is coming on to join us tonight. And we'll just bring Katie in now, actually. She's hanging out in the background there. Here's Katie. Katie has 20 years experience working in the bookkeeping and accounting fields across all industries and in various sized businesses, private, listed and not-for-profit. She's the owner and director of Better Business Mastery, who works with bookkeepers, accountants and financial planners, implementing for their clients better financial reporting system and measurable bookkeeping KPIs. Welcome along, Katie.
Hi, Harvey. How are you going? Hi, everybody.
Very well, thanks. Katie, why don't we start off with getting what's the lay of the land for business owners from your point of view at the moment, and what are you seeing out there with your clients and the landscape itself?
Look, I think overall, in general, after the initial concerns and the initial reactions, things have settled to a degree, but there's still a lot of uncertainty around how people might be able to access the stimulus packages. So in a nutshell, the government is handing out a lot of money right now. Obviously, as a business owner, you need to go through, you need to meet some criteria, basically, in order for you to get some of those stimulus packages or access to that money. But it's certainly a way of pumping money back into the economy, which is really, really needed now. In terms of the clients that I deal with, most people are phoning me and contacting me with regards how they might be able to get access to those stimulus packages. With regards to bookkeepers and accountants, they're certainly under the pump because it puts a lot of pressure back into the back office in terms of actually getting financial reporting up to date so that businesses and even individuals can then go through the process of applying for access to that money. So yes, the money has been passed, legislation has been passed, but it's also kind of like a logistical nightmare right now, which over time will start to pan out. But I think the biggest response is with businesses is clear communication, constant communication with both their bookkeeper, their accountant, and also their financial planner in their finance team to assist them to get through this process.
Yeah, we touched on the subject of communication, I think, in our last broadcast, where it's communication across the board, isn't it? From the team, from clients in particular, the clients and customers, because everyone's in the same boat right now, aren't they? And then suppliers, lenders, and also the community, because small business community, everyone's feeling the pinch. Most business owners are in one way, shape or another. So communication is definitely very important. So let's talk about the stimulus. Obviously, the last couple of days there was a new announcement made by the PM in regards to wage subsidies.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we talking?
So
1,500
for that particular package, it's $1,500 a fortnight and it's paid in arrears. So if you are a business and you have people employing long-term relationship with a contractor and they're on your books at the 1st of March 2020, you can register to apply for that particular subsidy. So $1,500 will be paid per fortnight, a month in arrears starting in May. Okay, so the first week of May, they're anticipating that money to go out. So important that you get back in contact with your bookkeeper and in particular accountant. They will know that you can actually apply for that money. And that really is, if you, as a business, it's $1,500, yes. However, as a business, you have to be able to prove that there has been a downturn in your business in terms of turnover due to this. So they'll take a snapshot of your financials at now or at the 1st of March, comparable to what it was exactly a year ago, 1st of March 2019. If you're showing between a 30 to 50% downturn, depending on your turnover, you can then register to apply for that stimulus.
Right. Okay. And obviously, I take
And
all
actually a really
bookkeeping
important one too, because not only is that money staying in the business, but it's helping families.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a slight delay here, Katie, with the techie stuff, but we'll manage. So I guess in saying that, bookkeeping or your accounting must be up to scratch, up to speed, almost on a daily basis at the moment. As far as how quickly things are changing, and then the other thing too is with all the stimulus packages coming out. Particularly the bank loans that are available. Not everyone would be eligible for this. I mean, they might be able to get access for it, but a lot of these stimulus packages are basically loans anyway, aren't they? They've got to be paid back at some point, which, the first thing that comes to mind is your business up to spec as far as borrowing money in the first place? Because, we're only hurting ourselves down the track even further if we try and fix something now that's going to hurt us later on. Looks like our delay is delayed even further.
So you want to be able to use that money in terms of capital expenditure. So it's going into it and getting that money. If you've really got a big downturn in your turnover, how are you going to pay for that? You've still got to pay it back at some point in time. And really, is there an immediate return on investment, or is there a cost benefit for you taking out that loan? Is it going to substantially improve your business or help you deliver services to a greater audience or a different audience?
Yeah, absolutely. We just lost the first part of that comment there, Katie, but I get what you're saying. I mean, all of these loans that are available, even though business owners might be able to get the access, knowing that it has to be paid back and making sure that the business is, in a position where it can take on this extra debt right now, because I think where we're at the moment, as far as the economy goes, things could get worse. But I'm certainly not focusing on that right now. But I think it's very important for business owners to be aware of the fact that it could, and make sure that the proper plans are in place to get through that without
a doubt,
carrying too much debt.
Definitely, without a doubt.
So what should business owners be looking at right now, Katie, from your perspective, from an accounting bookkeeping perspective, to be able to get through this secure cash flow right now? We're talking about cash flow tonight and the importance of managing the cash. What are your thoughts that business owners should be focusing on right now?
Look, I think getting everything up to date and fast is really important. So a case in point is today is the 2nd of April, okay? For most of my clients, through the process of having things automated and up to date on a regular basis, I'm already able to review their financial statements for March, okay? So it's giving me a greater opportunity to see any downward trends in either their income, or if there's any expenses that are spiking, or I can have a look at what their balance sheet is. So first and foremost, and businesses must get their bookkeepers in the door, they must get things up to date. So bank reconciliations, getting on the phone, doing debt collections. If you are struggling with cash, phone supplies, ask for extended trading terms, or make smaller installments for a smaller period of time, So they're the basics, okay? But what happens is that money in business tends to be is a point of stress, and people don't want to spend the money on the bookkeeper. But right now, your best bet of getting money and access to those stimulus packages is to have your things up to date. you know, this is going to go for. We're coming into the 1st of March. We're in the final quarter of the 2020 financial year. I highly recommend that in addition to monthly reporting done by the 3rd of the following month, you get in contact with your accountants. Ask them to review those finances. They also have the ability using software to actually do forecasts. Other things that people need to do, 1st of July is coming up. Start preparing your books now, not just for your business, but also for your family finances. Get those things to your accountants as soon as possible to allow them plenty of time to do some type of tax management planning for you. So it's the consistency of communication with your bookkeeper and accountant. It's getting on the phone, talking to your clients, talking to your suppliers, getting on the phone and asking for the interest moratorium. If you are in financial hardship, phone the banks now. Financial counsellors are very inundated at the moment, okay? So you're going to go onto a wait list. But by phoning the banks and saying to them, or any creditor, by the way, as in a lender, saying to them that you're in a position of financial hardship, they must by law put your interest on hold. So they can't keep accruing interest whilst you're in a position of financial distress. Those are really important things. If you have loans with your banks or overdrafts, get on the phone to the bank. Once again, speak to a manager. Ask if there's any way that they can either put a halt to that interest, which they should be doing anyway, or ask them, is there any better option available to you for refinancing the facilities that you've got? Finance brokers, great people to get in contact with right now. It's very much a community effort in supporting the community, but in also reaching out to the appropriate financial advisors to get them to help you do things. You know, don't sit there and think that as a business owner, as a human being, as a person, that you are the only one, and don't be ashamed by that. Reach out and ask for assistance, because there's a plethora of people out there that can actually help you. And now is the time to actually to get that help. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can see a lot of the need for long-term forecasting here. Really, aren't we? Like, you know, we can't be looking at what's going to happen in the next week with our business. It's got to be, you know, we've got to make the plans now, but we also got to be forecasting, you know, months into the future, because of if we do need to draw on any loans or anything like that, that we know that that's factored in down the track rather than copy hit later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, at the end of the day, post the Royal Banking Commission and the tighter financial restrictions on lending, that became more of the norm. Okay, so if you had to refinance something with the banks, it was more of the norm for them to ask you what your family's finances were and what your future cash flow forecasting were. However, it's fair to say that 95% of businesses don't do it. It is becoming more commonplace. It is really, really critical. And it's not difficult to forecast what's going to happen in your business. If you have an accounting system and you look just 12 months in arrear, you've already got a pretty good idea of those expenses that you're going to incur. Okay, that's on the operational side. That's just, you know, but actually sitting down and having a look at it, seeing if there's anything that you can cut. If there's any, not just in your business, but on the home front as well. A lot of business, because cash money from the business comes in, and then there's a game, which is why I said if today now you to the accountants, cash flow for away the tax management, do need to look at your without a doubt. You know, you need to, if you've got school fees for kids, get on the phone to there's a way that they could lessen the payments. There's a lot of things in place for people right now. In Western Australia, if you can't pay your electricity and gas, you can actually apply for government grants through finance. This is a reality for a lot of affected by the coronavirus. So you need to manage your finance and in your business simultaneously as best you can.
Yeah, I think there was another announcement today in regards to childcare services. I don't know whether it's passed legislation at all yet, but it was the PM was on talking about free childcare services to get mums and dads out into the workforce, working a job again. So there's something else to factor in as well, I guess. Having trouble with the connection a little tonight, Katie, but that's okay. One of the things I wanted to touch on, though,
it's massive. But I think, I'm not up to date with that one. But I know, having worked as a finance officer at the Australian Childcare Alliance, the pressure on childcare facilities.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things I wanted to touch on tonight, Katie, we're still having a problem with that connection, but we'll push on, is business owners getting, I wouldn't say confused, but the tying up of the difference between profit and cash flow. I know, like here at Crown Business Development, we work with business owners to optimize their strategies in their business to produce profits. But I think it can be a common misunderstanding with the difference between profit and actual cash. And obviously profit being net income, income after expenses, which is not always the same as, as having cash in the bank. Obviously, what can go down on the P&L this month as profit might not be seen as cash in the bank till 30, 60, 90 days time, which is obviously the big and the main difference between profit being making money and cash flow being the management of money.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love this topic. Okay, that's a really big one, and that has a massive impact on businesses, which is why we say cash flow forecasting is really important. So if I did say, I don't know, 100,000 in sales, it's easy to think that once that cash hits my bank, it's mine. But the reality is you will always have costs that are associated with that income. Okay, you just can't assume that money in the bank is profit, because it's just not. Even with net profit, you have tax that you must pay.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd be dealing with that just about every day.
Of not thinking that cash in the bank is theirs, is their money for grabs. It's just not. And that's not us being wanting to be difficult about the situation. The reality is you have income, you have direct costs, you have costs that are directly associated with the production of that income. And then immediately after that, you have overheads, which is electricity, rent, all of those things, wages, right? Then you have net profit. From net profit, you still have to pay tax. Okay. One of the ways that people get caught is that because cash flow is so inconsistent in their business, they then take that cash out and they're forever then playing catch up. I guess it's the same with GST. I often make my clients, or ask my clients, as part of a forced savings routine, is that when that money comes in, automatically put 10% aside. Just put it aside. It's the same money principles that we always have in our personal. Pay yourself first. Endeavour to pay yourself 10%, not just for a rainy day, but for your retirement. It's the same principle in business. The GST is not yours. You cannot use it. If you have employees, I recommend actually paying your PAYG, the tax that you withhold from their pay, when you do your pay straight away. And I also do that for my clients. I also get my clients that are struggling with cash flow to do that for their super. I get them to pay it straight away. Because I have found over the years that even if we put it into a savings account for them, it eventually gets taken out of there. So it's not your money. It must be paid over to the government. It does belong to someone. It belongs to your employees. So pay it over. Same with the GST. But that understanding the difference between cash in the bank and profit is very, very, very important. And once you grasp that, you realize then how easy it is to do a cash flow forecast, because you know that there's certain money that's going to go out. So I guess it's like at home, you pay yourself $1,000 a week. You know that you're going to have to pay groceries, electricity, and gas, right? So you're not going to touch that money because you've got to pay those things. It's exactly the same mechanism in business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well put, Katie. I think there's a huge element of that is a massive takeaway for business owners watching right now, is the fact that the understanding between the two is vital, particularly when you're planning out things right now for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So well put. So we'll just quickly talk about, to finish off on, what are some strategies that you can give to business owners right now in helping them with their cash flow at the moment?
First and foremost, clear communication. Clear communication with everyone that's in your finance team, in particular your accountant. Get on the phone to them, ask for assistance. Make sure that all of your information with the Australian government is up to date, okay? If a lot of people haven't ever used MyGov, get on board, make sure that you have linked MyGov to Centrelink, the Australian Taxation Office, and even Medicare, because there's a lot of information that is going through those channels, and there's also a lot of incentives that are there for you to use if you are on struggle streak financially. As a business owner, make sure that your finances are up to date. Okay, don't be ashamed of the fact that there might be a downturn. Don't sit and be stressed by yourself. Reach out to someone. It has a very negative impact on your mental health and your well-being, your mental well-being, if you think that you have to go this alone. Okay, have tough conversations with your clients. If clients are struggling to pay you, which is pretty fair to say right now, ask them if they can pay you smaller amounts on a more regular basis, okay? It's the same for suppliers. If you have large outstanding debts to your suppliers, make sure that you get in contact with your suppliers, clear communication, enter into a payment arrangement that is suitable for your business. There's a lot of things, automated debt collection, so make sure that you've got automatic invoice reminders on your accounting system. It's really just a consistent effort every day. I think Zig Ziglar honestly says it the best. It's just persistent consistency. Small things every day build up towards the bigger picture, which is building financial resilience for your business and for you personally. Forced savings, 10%. If you can't do 10%, do 2%, 5%. Do smaller amounts more often. Reach out to people that can offer these incentives to you. Get in contact. But it's really, as I said, persistent consistency, using the services. Look, I even contacted my coach last night, whom I work with, and because I'm stressed, because I'm dealing with so many things on a day-to-day basis. And it was like, okay, I really need to sit with you tomorrow because I need to clear my head. And I need to have an action plan for my business. I can do the forecasting, but I need to have an action plan. Okay. So that's a really important part. Use the people in your community, in business and in your personal world, to help you pull through this.
Yeah, I think you couldn't have said it better, Katie. I think right now focusing on the action plan is where focus needs to be.
Definitely.
The more you focus on, the negativity and whatever else is out there right now, particularly in the media, then that's probably what's going to show up for you in the months ahead. But having a clear plan is essential right now. Well, it's always essential, but now more than ever. A clear plan of where you want to be, and making sure that you focus on the action steps to make that plan happen. And look, this can be done in recessions, depressions, or when times are booming. If it's the same principle applies, and is definitely having that plan. So and the focus to go along with it. So look, Katie, we'll leave it at there for tonight. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I know we had a little issues with the tech side of things there, but
sorry, my internet probably. So thank you to everyone, and thank you, Harvey, for organising. It was great, and it was I really appreciate your assistance in helping businesses. It's fantastic.
No problems at all, Katie. Look, we'll just before you go, if people do need a hand with their bookkeeping and getting things up to date, how would they best get in touch with you, Katie?
Look, they can go to my website, which is katiehurst.com.au, and they can reach out to me via email there, or alternatively get in contact with you and just forward the details. My job is literally as a conduit right now is to help people get in touch with the services that they need to help them pull through both personally and in their business. So it's very much a collaborative approach. So please reach out if you're feeling a little bit murky around how to get through this.
No problems. Good on you, Katie. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Harvey. Thank you. See you.
See you, mate. Well, there you have it, folks. Thanks to Katie for coming on tonight. It was a little bit difficult there with the tech and the signal, but I think the main takeaways out of this is to communicate with people involved with getting your books up to scratch, particularly if you're going to apply for any stimulus, and then maintain get the plan in place. And if you require any assistance in putting a plan together for your business in the next few months, particularly around getting cash, getting and keeping the cash flow coming in, building on your profits, and putting money in your back pocket, then I'll be glad to help you out with that. You can reach out for a strategy session with me at the link in the description, and look forward to chatting with you soon. But make sure that you have a clear clarity in your own mind about your plan of action for the future. Forget about what's happening out there in the chaos of the world right now, and make it happen for yourself. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.